Hey everyone, it's Melissa Blair, Vice President of Wildlife Women, and thought it'd be fun to put a video together for you guys to show you how I have put together a display for my turkey tail feathers or fan and the wings and legs and beard that of one of the turkeys that I harvested this year. So there's different ways of doing it, and everybody has their own ways. I've done a couple of different ways, but this year I thought it'd be a good way to do mine this way. I had a really great idea, and so I wanted to share that with you guys. So here's what I did to display my turkey fan and wings, and this might give you guys an idea of how to do yours for the next time. So a lot of people, when they kill a turkey, they want to keep their spurs. So some people will cut their spurs in the legs and cut that out, and you've got the bone and it's kind of hollow. Some people like, or they might want to change it up, because I've cut the spur out and had the bone before, but this time around I wanted the actual leg with the spur on it. So I've had them drying out with salt, because actually here I couldn't find any borax nowhere. So salt will work. Sometimes I like to mix salt and borax together, but I had these drying out and salted here on the caps where I cut them off, and they've dried out now and they're ready. So I want these to look real like they do, but I also want them to look nice. So one tip that I have learned from a fellow friend of mine that's in North Carolina that is also with Drake Waterfowl is she's an artist, so she kind of preserves her legs better and makes them look even classier, I guess is a good way of doing it, or more showable by painting on them. So I thought I was going to try it this time around, and as you can see, as it's dried out, it looks kind of pink and even brownish, and the inside of the foot kind of looks black. So it's totally up to you if you want to do this or not, but this is what I've done. And just overlook the dogs as they're trying to play a little rough this morning. But I went and got some brushes. I really like the sponge brushes for this. And I got two different colors of red paint and acrylic, and I got an orange because I wasn't sure how I wanted my color to look or how it was going to come out. But I did try this one red, and I put some on, and I started painting, and I don't want a lot. So I will put a little of the paint on an area, and then I've used the rest, the dry part of the sponge, to kind of rub it to blend it in, because I don't want it to look fake. I want it to have the real look, but I want it to look nice. So the under part where it's kind of turned black, and I had these on a coat hanger hanging, so that kind of bent up pretty good right there, bent straight out, but that's okay. I like the way that it does look. I wish these were kind of pushed out a little bit more, but it'll take time, and they'll loosen up some. But the inside of this is kind of black, and it turned that way by drying out. So I think I'm going to put a little bit of red in this, but I don't want it, of course, on the toenails. I want the toenails left as is, which these boogers were black, and then, of course, his hook here was kind of, well, he's kind of wore them a little bit. So I'm not going anywhere near those. I'm leaving those alone and just trying to get a little bit of paint here on the fleshy part and the actual leg. So as you can see, I put some in there, and now I'm kind of blending it in with the dry part of the sponge. No, Mag, they want to eat these. You can't eat these, buddy. But I really like how this is looking with just this one color, because I thought, well, maybe I could mix some colors, and it's totally up to you guys how you want to do that and if you want to do this. But this is just a tip that I'm going to throw in with this, and I'm really loving the way that this is looking because, like I said, I don't want it to be fake. I want it to be as realistic can be, but I also want it to look nice. So I am really loving the way that this is coming out. And the color that I did use was, just like I said, an acrylic paint, and it was actually called Flamingo Red. So Walmart, 97 cents. I got a real red also, and then I went and got this orange that's called a Harvest Orange. So I don't even know that I would use the orange, but I'm really liking the way that this Flamingo Red is looking. I'm going to try to do some on the inside of this black, and I think just by me touching it like this, like, I don't want it too much, but I want it to look nice. And that's really looking good. I like the way that this is looking. Just, you know, from my standpoint. It doesn't mean that you would like this and that you would want to do this. This is totally up to you. And see, I'm even touching where I've already went over this and smeared it, and it's dried so fast that I'm able to even touch it there now, and it's not going to get on me. So I'm going to do some right in there because I noticed I may have missed that little area. My gosh, I'm really loving how this is looking. Really, really, really loving it. Let's get a little bit more red right through here. Really, 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 really loving this. Now, I will allow this to dry for the day, and set for a little while so that it can set in. See, there's even there's a black speck right in here. I don't know if you can see that. So I'm just leaving it because it's natural. That was there. It's not dirt. It's just part of how his leg is. And, you know, I could paint right over that and cover that right up to make it look perfect. But I don't want it to look perfect. I want it to look real, but I want it to look showcaseable and nice. And I don't want it to look too dried out and dead, if that kind of makes sense. I don't know what better way to put it or how to say it, but that's just my way of saying it. So I'm going to show you the difference. It's kind of hard to see because the way the light is shining, but as you can see, this is just so dead and black looking, and this has more of a little bit of life to it. You can see, compare. See how much better that does look? I'm really loving this. So what I'm going to do when I get done with this, I did buy a clear varnish, and I'm just going to put right over these legs. That way it'll preserve them. It'll keep the paint that I did put on there, the little bit that I did, it'll keep it on there. And then I'm going to let that dry. And then I'm getting some burlap rope that's not too thick, and I want to twine it around the top part of the legs and then loop it around and do the other side of the other leg the same way. That way I can hang the legs. So the first thing I need to do in order to make my turkey mount for my wings and tail feathers is I need 2 pieces of 2x4. I need a 12-inch piece and I need a 10-inch piece. So it's a messy area, but I got my 2x4 laid out here. I got a square, got a tape measure, and I got me a pencil. So I'm gonna mark my places, and then I've got a circular saw right down there in the floor, ready to go, and I'm gonna cut me 2 pieces. So I got my 10-inch piece and my 12-inch piece cut. I'm just taking a little sandpaper and just trying to go around the edges so that it's real smooth and not so rough. That way I don't get a splinter in me. So I'm just going to screw these two 2x4s together, and I'm going to lay the smaller 2x4 down long ways like this, and the longer 2x4, the 12-inch, on top, in the middle. You can kind of eye it. If you want to measure, go ahead and measure. Kind of center it up. And I got me 2 screws. So just 2 screws to hold it into place, and we'll be good. I'm not real. All right, so I got the 2x4 screwed together. So this is a 12-inch piece and this is the 10-inch piece. So this with the 12-inch across is the back. So I'm gonna lay this down, and I'm gonna take my turkey wings and I'm gonna place them on the 12-inch board that runs across right here in the middle, that's in the back. I'm gonna place them on the board, and then I'm gonna nail it on there. So let's get this on here. So I've just got some little like finishing nails that I'm actually gonna try. So I want to kind of even these up. I want to kind of spot and look at them. Kind of make sure that they look about the same. Doesn't have to be perfect. I know these wings ain't the prettiest wings, but it's my harvest and that's all that matters. So there's some bony part right in here, so it shouldn't take but a couple. We're gonna see how this goes. Actually, yeah, that should work right there. Pretty good. Now, I've had these wings drying out in salt because I couldn't find borax at the time. This is gonna be hard to do. Trying to penetrate into this. Some people can use a nail gun. Well, I can't find a nail gun down there, so seem to not have one. There we go. So, because I'm not very good at tools, I did bend that a little, so I'm gonna straighten it back out. A little bit more. There we go. Oh yeah, that turned out really good. I think that's gonna hold nicely. Now to grab me another one. And like I said, I want to try to center these up to where they're about the same length on this when I hang it. I'm kind of eyeballing it. So, right there looks good. Looks good at the top too. So. That looks really good. All right. Got the wings on. That looks really good. I might need to put another one down here. It probably wouldn't hurt. Yeah. That way it can keep them from moving so much. Although it may come in handy if I wanted to move them out where you could see it some. I'm just gonna leave it like that for right now. All right, so here's my fan. So the fan is actually gonna go on the front right here. And no, it will not go on the back. You're gonna put it on the front. I'm gonna place it. Whoops, I got them backwards. Sorry about that. So put it on the front, and I'm gonna lay it down flat. That way I'll know where to place it, and then just nail that right there. So, get them on here. This turkey was really pretty. Really pretty. The Eastern turkey. Okay. Yeah, I think that's gonna look really good right there in that spot. Try not to cover too much of the wings, but I want to put it to where there's not really any space, because let me just say, these feathers on these turkeys are beautiful. You wouldn't think they were, but once you harvest you a turkey and you get those feathers in a sunlight, and oh my gosh, you're not gonna believe how beautiful they are. You really ain't. Okay, I'm just trying to find a good place where I can hammer it, because I don't want to tear my fan up. But yeah, you can dry your tail and wings out with, I usually do borax and salt, but borax is just fine and salt is just fine. So I had no choice with this one. I don't know, there must be a shortage of borax right now for some reason, but all I could find was salt, so that's what I used. Oh yeah, that looks good. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? It's really good. Okay. Yeah, I'm happy with that. All right, now, some people can do this part different. I chose to do it this way. I found some old wood, wormwood, been sitting out weathering for a while, and I actually put it in and kind of broke the bottom off. So I have a piece of wormwood, and I really like how the top of this is made, and the way that I really would like to have the top of this like over the middle part of the tail feathers right in there, to cover that little piece up right in there that's the fleshy part that dried out. But I didn't want to cut this. I just, you know, I don't know. So I found me a smaller piece of wood that come off this at the end, and I'm gonna butt it up right against. So I just hammered that piece. I kind of centered it up there and centered it on the 2x4 that I had underneath, and put that on there like that. So I think that turned out pretty good. Now I'm gonna get the shotgun shell that I used, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with that. There's different ways you could do it. I could put it like a dowel rod, like say in the middle, and put it over the dowel rod, and maybe hang the legs with the spurs over it, And then I could drill a hole through it and put the beard in. A lot of people takes the actual shotgun shell and they drill the center out where the primer is and put the beard up through that little hole. So I'm just trying to figure what I want to do, but I do want to hang my legs some way. So that'll be the next step. So I just drove that in there to hold the ring, and I used my belling line and tied, and then I took a drill and took the center fire out of the middle of the shotgun shell and run a string through there and tied a knot right in here so the shotgun shell wouldn't slide any further. And I tied my beard down in the end of the shotgun shell. So when I hang it on the wall, my legs with the spurs and the shotgun shell with the beard, which I'll just place it and fix it there, will all hang there off the middle.